Morning all, thought I'd have another 5-minute game today, so I'll set off the auto pairing. So GunSlinger 1735, broken the 1900 mark just after yesterday's game. Let's play c5 here. So is White going to play e5? That's interesting. Or should I play Queen b6 to try and provoke e5? I wonder if e takes d to play knight takes d5. White's knights are potentially quite passive here. So there's a lot of tension in the centre at the moment. Am I really threatening to win that pawn on d4? I've got my decaf coffee with me at the moment, so just start with a decaf. I know it sounds a bit funny, but yeah, I prefer a cappuccino later in the day, caffeinated. So yeah, there's a bit of a pause here. I hope he hasn't disconnected. Or is he really confused by this position? Queen b6 seems a very standard move in the French defence. It adds more weight to black's pressure on d4. Okay, so now why was there a pause here? Is White going to play knight f4 next? I think knight d7 seems reasonable and logical. I'm going to try and avoid a premature f6, which I've been doing quite a lot recently, even in long games. I think f6 is often risky if it's not, exactly the right position. I mean, in this position, f6, knight f4. So I have got a problem that, where am I going to castle? Am I forced to manoeuvre this knight back to b8, a6, and then bishop d7 to castle queenside? Because I don't really want to play f6 because of knight f4, maybe. Another option is taking on d4 and to take bishop b4 check, but I think that might be sort of harmless. Mind you, I think there's a tactical idea. If f6, knight f4, maybe knight takes e5. So I get this pawn centre, and I'll be threatening like e4. I think I might go for that actually, because I think it would be a fun game to just provoke knight f4 by White. So White didn't do that. Okay, so now I'm simplifying a little bit because I can play for bishop d6 now. But should I take on d4 first? If I take on d4 first and then bishop d6. Okay. If bishop d6 here, then maybe White can castle. If I castle, then knight e6, bishop e6, rook e6. I haven't really got anything there, or have I? Maybe I should. Oh, I'm not sure here. e6 is a liability. I think I'll have to sack it. I'm just going to sack e6. Let White play rook e1 and knight takes e6. Hope for the best. Hopefully I get some play here. Knight e6. I've just realised if I had taken on d4, I would have had bishop to a8 takes h2 in that line if White was taking on e6. So that's a bit of a shame. So here, in fact, can I use that tactic? No. Alright, so I'll just take on e6 and play rook d8, I think. So I am a pawn down here, and seemingly for not much. So maybe this isn't the greatest 5-minute game I've played. Can I play bishop c5 here to try and get some pressure on f2 at the very least? In fact, I might be threatening knight b4 with the idea taking and queen e6, but then I'll be losing 2 pieces. But it's something to bear in mind, the idea of knight b4. White also might be preparing rook f6, bishop h7. So this is a little bit tricky. But here, knight takes d4 is interesting. You know, attacking the rook. So rook takes b6, knight takes c2. I think I'll go for that. Knight takes d4. I think surely that wins material because I've just munched them attacking the rook. So I'm temporarily a piece up. If I take the rook, I've just won the exchange. Also, I'm threatening queen e1. If thingy takes, I've got queen e1 here, so that forces bishop f1. This is looking like good news. Now knight e4 here attacks the queen and also the f2 square, and it's good that d5 is protected. So that seems quite crushing. There's nothing better than that. That seems, and also my rook's coming in on the f file, so that's a bit of luck maybe. Bit of luck there. If queen c2, then rook f2. Seems all over. Bother shouting. So White resigned here. Oh, I was a bit lucky there. I think I need to look up the theory of that. But let's have a look in overview summary. So French defence played maybe quite badly, inaccurately at some point. So there was a lot of pause though after this e5. So I even offered, you know, this temporary piece sack. Knight f4, I was thinking of knight takes e5 here. And then it takes fe. Knight moves back, then e4. But White didn't go in for that. White just took on f6. And now, you know, with this knight takes d4, I could have sneakily just taken here, I think. And then knight takes d4, bishop d6. And then if rook e1 castles, then if knight e6, bishop e6, rook e6, bishop takes h2. So in other words, by taking on d4, I'm creating an indirect protection on e6. But I didn't do that, so maybe that's in that inaccuracy. So I just lost that pawn for nothing, basically. But the rook was still a little bit of a tactical liability. But it shouldn't have been so easily exploitable with White playing this disastrous knight d4. So knight d4, that rook's, you know, is exposed again as a tactical problem. So knight takes d4, and it was all over in this line with the queen coming to e1, and then this knight e4. So f2 is also under fire 3 times, and that's it. If the bishop moves here to attack my queen, I can just play rook takes f1 mate, actually, if you're wondering. So yeah, that was a bit lucky. Alright, please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.